What is a cult?
The term cult is derived from the Latin word cultus, which must be translated as education or care. In the course of time, however, the meaning of worship developed from this, especially with regard to a deity, saints and angels, etc., but also the exaggerated worship of a person, an object or anything, such as sports, music, singing, paintings or animals, etc., etc. The cult also includes adoration, which in Latin means worship or adoration, as well as proskynesis, kneeling and kissing the ground, which in ancient Greek also means adoration. In the sciences of religion and theology, the term cult is common, whereby it stands for the attempt that the believer can acquire his salvation and the holy by an existing tradition or determination in common, ritual, regulated action. Specifically, the ritual acts in holy places and at holy times are to be ritually cultivated in order to ensure the religious experience. Associated with this are defensive and taburistic rituals or rituals of penance, which are supposed to ward off superhuman powers or the punishment of an angry god. In earlier forms of religion, but not infrequently also in today's main religions, the cult, which presupposes a respectful treatment of all that is sacred, and the magic by which all that is sacred is to be manipulated, could not and cannot be precisely separated from each other. Religions and religious sects form cult communities, cult religions and cult sects, in which they devise and elaborate the rituals, and are also responsible for ensuring that they are carried out and observed. Social development plays a decisive role in the practice of religious or sectarian worship, so that a special individuality is given according to the head of the family, priesthood, religious leaders, clan patriarchs, shamans, medicine men, sect gurus, kings and emperors, village elders, tribal leaders, groups of people or other authorities. The order to practice a cult can be given by any competent authority that is powerful enough in this regard to invent rituals and to enforce them in a cult manner. A cult may also be established by an official provision, by ordination or by an official order, which is specific to an official religious form, but may also be official or military, etc. A cult always and without exception consists of ritual acts, which are accompanied by factual words and which refer to mythological interpretations, stories, traditions, legends, dogmas, beliefs, and strictly ideological guidelines and regulations, which are to be followed ritual cult-like. It is not uncommon for the cult to take on the character of a ritual cult theatre, also known as a sacred drama, especially if it is based on strict faith and thus also a form of fanaticism. It must be clear that rituals and the cult actions resulting from them are not only religion-related, but also sectarian, because wherever sectarianism exists, rituals and the cult actions resulting from them also exist. That is so with every terrorist organization, so also with Al-Qaeda, with the Nazi system, and with other organized groups and organizations of all kinds, which have their own rituals and therefore also their own cult actions. The same applies to the military, because a ritualized flag consecration alone is a ritual cultic act just as much as prescribed forms of greeting. The consecration of weapons and the chanting of the homeland or a group, etc., as well as other ritual forms. The Mafia as a sect, along with other similar or different sects, also cultivates ritual acts to which all members must adhere. In such sects, as in other groups and organizations, especially satanic cults and fanatical sects, a breach of the rituals and cult can result in punishments and possibly fatal consequences. In religions and sects, cult, in the form of the practice of rituals and faith, means the worship of a god. In the Christian faith, also the alleged Son of God, Jesus Christ, whereby with dog-like humble posture, such as prostration, bowing and crucifixion, kneeling, kissing the ground or touching it with the forehead, begging for help and mercy. This falls into the realm of proskynesis or worship, which goes back to a Persian court ceremonial and which was adopted into the Roman emperor's cult. In the Orthodox Church and partly in the Oriental churches, it was and is expressed as bowing the body and touching the ground with the right hand as a spirit of penance, especially during the 40-day Lent. In the Catholic Church, it is customary to prostrate, or rather the gesture of prayer, which is performed by bending both knees and deep bowing or lying on the floor for a long time, as for example during ordination. In general, the cult can be understood as a false reverential, humble reaction, attitude, experience, and devotion to something holy.
Simyase Silver Star Center, November 21, 2005, 9:16 HRS Billy.